It is Reverend Stephanie Denise coming to you for our second installment of moving or shifting from surviving to thriving. I'm so excited to be with you tonight for our second installment. And what I would love to do is for you to put your name, or at least put your name and where you are coming from, where you're coming in from tonight, right? So I'm here in Northern California. So go ahead and type where you're coming from in the chat. All right, and this is being recorded tonight. And so just be aware that we are recording and there will be a replay available for you at a later date. All right, again, I'm Reverend Stephanie Denise, and we're going to go ahead and get started. It's just about 7 o'clock. Good evening. Good evening. All right. So I am Reverend Stephanie Denise, and here we are with shifting. I was going to say moving, but shifting from surviving to thriving, right? After life changes, because there's a lot of things that happen. And also we'll look at how we can use empowerment as a tool, and that's really entrepreneurship empowerment when we're moving from surviving to thriving. So I just want to share just a little bit about myself. I am from Seattle, Washington, but I've been in the Bay Area for more than 30 years now, and I am proud to call the Bay Area home. I have a bachelor's of arts in liberal studies and a California multiple subject teaching credential, as well as an administrative credential. And I have worked in the public school system for more than 25 years. And I was able to retire myself early from teaching by being a real estate investor. And so I'm always excited to share about my real estate journey, and I'm always excited to get other people started on their real estate investing journey. All right. And again, I'm Reverend Stephanie Denise. Good evening. Good evening. Put in the chat where you're coming from. Northern California, Southern California. Okay, okay, great, great. I also have a Master's of Divinity from Pacific School of Religion in Berkeley, California. It's located right behind Cal Berkeley. And currently I am working on my dissertation for my doctoral DMin, and that is in public theology, which is God in public spaces, right? And so that's a little bit about me. I'm the author of a book called 21 Days of Faith, and that book is on Amazon, 21 Days of Faith, Finding Your Purpose. I just believe that everybody who walks in faith and walks in their purpose will also have an abundant life. And so definitely very important to walk in faith, purpose, and abundance will follow. So that's just a little bit about me. I love to write curriculum. You know, it's just very important to me for us to always learn. And so I like to be a part of that learning process. I like to be the learner as well as a person who creates curriculum. And so tonight we're here to talk about shifting from surviving to thriving. And let me take a moment. I'm going to go to my first slide. So hold on just a minute as I share my screen. Thank you for your patience. All right, there we are. We're going to move that out of the way. All right, so again, shifting from surviving to thriving. And we met last Monday from 7 to 8. On the 8th, we're meeting tonight. And then there's one more in this series, which will be next Monday, the 22nd. Okay. One of the things that is really near and dear to my heart is talking about challenges that are faced by women after major life changes, right? Type in the chat, life changes. We all experience life changes in different types of ways. And with us, as we're getting older, there's many different life changes that we experience. And sometimes it can have to do with our jobs. It can have to do with our family. It can be a loss of a spouse, a loss of a parent. It could be a teenage child or a young adult child, right? There's many different things that happen, right? With aging parents, with children who are becoming more independent, but yet still need us, but in different ways. With marriages that are shifting and the dynamics are different. And with menopause, right? That's a subject that people don't talk about all the time, but it brings about changes as well, right? Where we find ourselves in some tough situations where it becomes a little bit harder to navigate. So there are many challenges that we face, and there are life changes that we face. The question is, do we just kick into survival mode where we're just trying to get through, right? Where we're doing our best each day to wake up and get dressed and get at the task at hand? Or are we able to meet those challenges head on and then move from meeting them head on, accepting them, and then navigating what are the next steps as we face them, and then move from surviving to thriving, right? And that's really what the goal is. So we'll be talking about that a little bit tonight. And we'll also talk about the power of entrepreneurship, right? And empowerment and self-discovery. Because part of being faced with challenges, life challenges, and part of navigating those life challenges means that finances can be an issue, right? Time can be an issue. We may have more months than money. And so, and entrepreneurship is a way to be able to, one, reinvent yourself, take skills or learn new skills and put an entrepreneurship spin on them, as well as discover new things about yourself, which will help you grow and will help you move out of that survival pit. This is a picture. We know who this is. Now, there's many people who have reinvented themselves. In this picture, the reason why it's an example is because there was a point when she had to reinvent herself. And so we all come to this point where we have to figure out what we're going to do, right? There was at one point where she was actually going to be fired from her job because she just was not good at it, right? And this is before she became to be the Oprah Winfrey that we know. And so she started out as a news anchor, a talk show host before becoming this media mogul that she is today, before the actress, producer, and philanthropist that she is today. She had to reinvent herself. She reinvented herself when she launched her own television network, OWN, and expanded her influence through various other media platforms. So, yeah, you may not be an Oprah, you may be a Michelle Obama, right? Who currently is in the process of reinventing herself. We knew her as a First Lady, we knew her as a mother, we knew her as a support, we knew her as a daughter to her mother, right? But now, as we see her with her platform of teaching and inspiring millions of women around the world, right? She has her best-selling memoir, Becoming, and that's something that we can look at. Who are we becoming, right? Because you can be, do, and have whatever you want in this new season. Sometimes we focus on the have, but really we should move back to focusing on the be. Who are we becoming? And once we're being that, then we can do and have, right? So again, expert insight, Oprah Winfrey, media mogul today. There's many successful women who have reinvented themselves and reinvented themselves through entrepreneurship. Last week, I had mentioned Mindy Kaling, who actually created her own shows, right? A South Asian woman who wasn't able to get roles in Hollywood, and there weren't projects that really spoke to her and who she is. And so she created her own roles, created her own projects so that she can go forward and other South Asian women would have an opportunity. We'll also look at some tips, right? Real-time tips. What are some things that we can do right now that would make a difference? What are some of those things? Put in the chat, reflect. Reflect. It's so important that we reflect on our passions, reflect on our skills for those potential business ideas, right? Reflection is so important. When you are moving from surviving to thriving, it's like we're in a box and we can't really see our way out of the box. There's walls and we're closed in, right? And we're just trying to get through. But the reality is, if you take that time instead of having a maybe a negative mindset or a survival mindset and start to move to a mindset where you picture opportunities, you reflect on what your skills are. Put in the chat skills. You reflect on what your interests are. You reflect on things that you may have questions about and want to learn about. And as you're reflecting, that's when the potential business idea may come up. And when you take the focus off of your current situation and put the focus on a vision, an inspired vision, that's a great way to shift. There's benefits, right? When you think about this, increased self-awareness, empowerment, and purpose. Those are some very powerful words. Go ahead and type in the chat, self-awareness. Are you even aware of your potential? Are you aware of what you can do? I hope you are, because you are amazing. And so as you take that reflection time, you'll be able to understand and be self-aware that there's more than the box that you're in. There's more than the emptiness box that you find yourself in. There's more than the divorcee spot that you find yourself in. There's more than being an orphan because you've lost your aging parents. There's more than that. There's so much more, and you're so much more. So who are you becoming? Who are you being? That's the most important step, is to stop and reflect. Reflect on your potential. Then be self-aware and understand that you are more than the situation and the circumstance that you find yourself in right now. And then you start to become empowered. When I was younger, I used to always say, empowerment begins by touching the spirit within. There's so much inside of us. We just have to take the time to reflect, be self-aware, and tap into who we really are and who we're really created to be, right? That divinity within will shine bright, and then the purpose will come. The purpose will come. Who am I really, or what am I really passionate about? Take a moment and think about that. What am I really passionate about? If anything pops in your mind, go ahead and put it in the chat. Health and wellness. Yeah, health is our wealth. Excellent. And there's no right or wrong answer. This is totally individual to you. But sometimes when we're in that place of survival, it's hard for us to stop and think, what am I really passionate about? Right? Because we're just trying to make sure that the lights are on. We're just trying to make sure that we show up at work so that we don't lose our job. Right? We're just trying to make sure that those day-to-day tasks are done almost on autopilot without really taking the time to reflect. So, what are you passionate about? Really passionate about? Okay. What is the one thing everyone had always told me? What is the one thing everyone had always told me I excel at? What is your natural bent? Right? I had a friend coming up who she did everybody's hair, right? She did everybody's hair. And she went to the University of Washington. And about 6 months through it, 6 months into it, I should say, after her first semester, she knew that that was not for her. She knew that being at university was not for her. And so when second semester came, she did not go back to school. She moved out of her dorm and she enrolled in beauty school, in cosmetology school. And do you know that she is an amazing, amazing cosmetologist? And she's so amazing that she moved down to LA, the LA area, built a huge clientele. And after marriage, they relocated to South Carolina. Do you know that she had clients who would fly to South Carolina or vice versa? There were certain weekends in the month that she would fly back to LA just to service her clientele who would not let her go, right? So, what is that one thing everyone has always told you that you excel at? Maybe they see something that you don't see in you. Maybe they see your greatness, right? Maybe they see your worth and your value. And so think about that. If anything comes to mind, put it in the chat. And don't forget it. Hold on to it because these are the things that are going to help you to move from survival to thriving. All right. Another question for you. Do I have the time and can I persevere? Keep going. Don't stop. Make the time, right? We make the time for the things that are important to us. So make the time because you are your most valuable commodity. You have to love you first. Take care of you first, right? We hear the cliche, but it's also true. If you're on a plane and it is a dire strait and something tragic is happening, you put on your own life mask first. Then you secure the mask of the children who are with you. So we're so used to doing everything for others. But this season is about you doing something for you. So, do I have the time and can I persevere? Sure, you can. Sure, you can. You have to believe in you. Last week when we met, we were talking about some life changes. One of those life changes was divorce, right? There's nothing fun about divorce. Divorce is really difficult. And if you're dealing with divorce, the thing that makes it so difficult is it's a death. But the thing about the death is that person is still walking, talking, breathing, and you may even run into them. or still have to see them because you have children in common. But healing after divorce is so important because even though it's the death of the relationship, it's not the death of you. And you deserve to come out of that survival mode and to walk into the glorious, beautiful, divine life that's set for you. Expert insight. Dr. Jane Smith, a psychologist, has a lot of insight on how to deal with that. So if you're looking for resources, Dr. Jane Smith is a great resource. Guidance on emotional and mental healing after divorce. Divorce is emotional. It brings about turmoil. It brings a whirlwind of emotions, grief, anger, fear of the unknown, uncertainty. What are my next steps? What am I going to do? How am I going to navigate? Right? And when we're in that whirlwind of emotions, especially when we're in that place of grief, we play the tapes over and over and over and over again. And that doesn't help us, right? We know what the past is, we know where we've been, but when we're talking about making a shift, we have to let the past be the past. And we have to move forward and we have to take steps each and every day. We have to take steps out of that place of grief, mourn the loss, right? And part of mourning the loss, part of grief is going through all of those emotions. And those emotions cycle. And sometimes we don't know when we're going to be triggered, right? And so that grief, anger, fear, uncertainty. I think sometimes uncertainty, at least for me, I'm recently divorced. Uncertainty of the future. What's going to happen? How am I going to make money? Because we had a real estate business together. Is our business going to be impacted? Um, are we going to have to close up shop? What's going to happen? Right? That fear of not knowing the next steps, right? And some of us have been in a rut, in a pattern for so long that we are on autopilot. But it's okay to shake up that pattern, right? No one would wish divorce on anyone. It's not fun. But in shaking up the pattern, you're able to think of new ways of being, and it leads to even a reinvention of yourself. So, getting guidance on emotional and mental healing after divorce is really important. Whether you seek out a psychologist, a psychiatrist, a girlfriend group, these are just some resources. The Divorce Recovery Workbook by Marcus Rye, The Mindful Divorce, another good resource, Setting Boundaries After a Toxic Divorce, right? So these are just a few works that are very, very beneficial. And of course, as you're going through, you know exactly what you need. And if this is not an area where you need healing, God bless you. But it's really it can be really difficult and challenging. So not only that, you're going to go through a phase of rediscovery. Who am I? Right? You've been connected to this person for some time, and now you're moving forward in a solo nature. So in this time, it's time to reconnect. It's time to reconnect with self. And it's also a time to reconnect with your own identity. Who are you outside of the marriage? What's important to you outside of the marriage, right? Because some of the things about our identity, we change or we alter for the other party. So this is something to look at. And again, resources, Getting guidance on emotional and mental healing is so key. And then thinking about new directions. What direction are you going to go in now? Right? Got to find a fresh sense of purpose, a renewed purpose. Very important. And when you're finding that purpose, you have to think about what actually will be fulfilling. What will give you fulfillment? What will give you fulfillment? Type fulfillment in the chat. Very important. If you have purpose and it gives you fulfillment, you will be able to move forward or at least take steps forward. For me, because as I said, we had a real estate business, and if you know about real estate and if you know about entrepreneurship, it really does keep you on your toes. But I became an empty nester and separated from my husband all at the same time. My twins graduated from high school, and then a month and a half later went off to college. Uh, and it was like, uh-oh, what am I going to do? And so at that time, I actually went back to the classroom because I had taught for 25 plus years. And that's something I knew like the back of my hand. And even though I had retired myself early from teaching, I knew that going back in the classroom would take the focus off of me and put the focus on the children, right? And that gave me a sense of fulfillment and purpose because my goal was to get them from A to Z and help them to be successful. So when you're in this survival place and you're finding healing after divorce, definitely in your reflection time, think about a fresh sense of purpose, something that you can do that will bring fulfillment. That's going to be crucial as you move forward. Here are a few other books. Whole Again, Divorcing and Healing from a Narcissist, right? Very powerful books. Real-time tips. If you take a look at this slide, you'll see journaling, some mindfulness, yoga. Now's the time to start. Not later, now. Now, like today. Action, inspired action is what's going to help you. Inspired action is so key. Start now, practice self-care. Activities like journaling and meditation are so important. Why? You got to get it out. You have to take care of you. And so these are great things and ways to get you through. I know that I started doing yoga when I was going through all of those changes. That's one of the things I would do is go to yoga. And I was there, twice a week. And it was hard. I didn't know that I could even stretch like that. But I needed something to release the tension, the stress, the cortisol levels. And so yoga was very healing. And I continue to write every day. Journaling is so important. And I have some blog posts. If you go to my website, RevStephanieDenise.com, you'll see some of my blog posts. And writing is a way to express yourself, right? So if you're into writing or art, if you're an artist and you paint and you create, while you're going through this time, lean into those resources because they will help. Meditation, prayer, so important. Start off each day with a grateful heart. Grateful. You're still here for a reason, right? And you'll find the benefits. You'll receive emotional healing, you'll receive clarity and resilience. You are more resilient than you know. So continue to strive, continue to thrive, right? Even though I know right now it feels a little tough and it can feel a little bit dark, right? Know that there is joy. and joy is deep within, right? And when you can realize that joy is deep within and start making a list in your journal of things that you're grateful for, you'll see the light. You'll see the light will start shining, and each day will feel a little better. Transitioning from surviving to thriving. One of the people who I watched her videos and read some of her works was Brene Brown. She's a researcher, she's an author, and she really talks about steps for moving from survival mode to thriving mindset. This is so important because you want to thrive. And sometimes we need help. Sometimes we need a little coaching, right? And that's what I'm here for. That's what many others are here for. Open yourself up to being able to have someone help you, coach you along the way. Sometimes we just don't have it in ourselves at the moment. Not that we're going to stay in that place, but sometimes we just don't have it at the moment. So we need that extra encouragement. We need that extra to be able to keep moving, right? And here are some Brene Brown resources: Rising Strong, The Power of Vulnerability. Oh, this is such a good one. I know that when I was going through, I felt that the first month or two, I felt as if I was walking around the world with absolutely no clothes on. The vulnerability of it was almost too much to bear, right? Because I knew something was missing, right? My other half was no longer there, right? Imperfection, right? So these are some great resources. The gifts of imperfection. Nobody's perfect. And I know that sometimes we feel like, oh, my perfect life has been ruined. I can't believe that they did that to me. I can't believe that this happened. We are imperfect, perfect beings. So the idea is for us to understand it, understand that in that grief, in that fear, in that uncertainty, there's power in that. Yes, you're vulnerable, but there's power in our truth. There's power in what we're going through. And you can rise, and you will rise, and you will rise strong. So, do you have a calendar? Do you do things by your date book? Do you use your calendar on your phone? How do you go about doing things? Write the vision, write what you want for yourself, write where you see yourself at, right? Very important because we're transitioning from a state. I'm going to stop sharing for just a minute. I want to talk about this. I was trying to, hold on one second. There we go. I'm gonna have to go back, but that's okay. There we go. Thank you for your patience. So I wanted to stop the share for a minute because what I want to talk about is when we're transitioning from surviving to thriving, um, it requires us to have an intentional mindset. You got to be intentional. You got to make a decision, right? You can't stand on the fence. You have to make a decision. Be intentional. You have to know that, uh-oh, there's some action steps that I have to take. I cannot sit here and cry anymore. And I know, and you will cry off and on for years to come, because that's a part of it, right? I know some people say, oh, get over it. Well, it is not that easy, right? It's not that easy. And sometimes emotion will hit you or anger will hit you, or you'll see something and oh my gosh, it's like you're seeing red. But you'll cycle through the emotions. You'll cycle through the emotions. And what you'll realize is, wait, this is about me. I'm on a transformational journey. I'm moving from surviving to thriving. So, you know what? Let me get my mind right. Let me get my mind right. Right. And when you have right thoughts, right actions, commitment to yourself, your self care, right? You got to take care of you. You have to take care of you. It's so important, right? So, commitment to self care, very important. Okay. And not only commitment to self care, but commitment to personal development, right? We talked about reinventing yourself. What does that mean? How can you develop yourself? So, part of that is changing your mindset, right? What are you thinking about? We had some questions a little bit earlier in the chat. What is the number one thing that is on your mind right now? Type it in the chat. Finances, being a single mom. Understood. Understood. Your heart hurts. Understood. I know each and every one of those thoughts, each and every one of those emotions. But this is the time we can't negate those things because they're real. However, you can make a choice to walk in a mindset that is a thriving mindset, a mindset that embraces growth, because that's what you need right now. You have to grow. You have to grow out of the box that you're in, the box single mother, the box being divorced, the box parents not here anymore, the box you hate your job, the box career burnout, the box, right? And with when you embrace growth, then you're looking at shifting your perspective. You're moving from seeing the challenges as obstacles, and you start looking at those challenges that were obstacles, you start looking at them as opportunities for growth, opportunities for learning. How can you grow? What can you learn? And then you start embracing the change and you see every setback as a stepping stone towards a brighter future. That is so key. Every stepping stone is moving you towards a brighter future. So I talked a little bit about entrepreneurship, and that's one way, right? Thinking about what do you love, and then moving forward to maybe make that a business, especially if you're in the place of career burnout. But also, you want to make sure that you are practicing gratitude every day because part of the shift is being grateful for what still is, right? Being if there's broken pieces all around you, being grateful for each and every one of those broken pieces, right? If everything is broken up and all there is pieces, be grateful for those pieces, right? And when you have an attitude of gratitude, something amazing happens. You start to see abundance, even in the little things, right? And thriving is about having an abundant mindset, knowing that there is more than enough. There is more than enough love. There is more than enough light. There is more than enough goodness, right? There is more than enough, and you are more than enough. So start to set empowering goals for yourself and start to define clear goals for yourself. We're going to look at a couple of people who had some clear goals for themselves and who shifted and started some businesses after the broken pieces, or I should say, even with the broken pieces. So look at actionable steps. All right, I'm going to go back to sharing my screen. Okay, good. So we all know about Spanx, right? Empowering women through entrepreneurship is like definitely one way. This is Sarah Blakely, founder of Spanx, right? This is a woman, an example of a woman who is thriving in entrepreneurship. That may be something that you're interested in, or maybe not. But even if you're not thinking about being a entrepreneur, you may think about how can you serve your community, right? How can you be of service? How can you find a problem and then be the solution to that problem? Right. When we look at entrepreneurships, that's really what they're doing. They're finding a problem in the marketplace and then being a solution to that problem. When I went back to the classroom, there was definitely a problem in inner city schools in the city that I live in, and I was working to be a solution to that problem. Right. So career burnout is very real. There's an overwhelming pressure of balancing work, of balancing family, of balancing personal life. And all of this can lead to mental exhaustion. And if you're going through changes personally in your life, whether it be because of a family member, whether it be just because you're not being appreciated or respected, whether it be at home or in the workplace or by family, all of these things can lead to career burnt out. So, overwhelming pressure of having to balance work, having to balance family, having to balance personal life can lead to mental and physical exhaustion. So we have to figure out how can we overcome that. Start looking at resources, right? If you're interested in a business, then start looking at resources that might help you to start a side business. And then think about the independence that comes with that or the creative expression, right? When you're going through burnout, you need an outlet of creativity, right? When people are entrepreneurs, many times it's an outlet of creativity, not only finding a problem and being the solution, but it's creative expression. That's so important when we're talking about this shift, when we're talking about shifting from surviving to thriving. We have to have creative expression. And creative expression is a way to feel empowerment and passion. And it also boosts our confidence. She says, I got this. Steps and resources. How do we move forward? We always need a roadmap for starting a journey, especially if we're starting an entrepreneurial journey. Now, I experienced career burnout. Let me see, I want to say about 8 years ago. At that time, my mother-in-law was sick, and not only that, my children were starting to move into their teenage years, and they needed actually more. They were playing travel softball and AAU basketball and drama, and they needed to be at these different locations. And I was the bus, the taxi, but I found joy in it. Then, having a husband who needed a lot as well, and trying to juggle all of that with my own parents was tough, and the classroom. And I just felt like mentally, I couldn't do it all. And that's when I became a real estate investor. So I have a realtor's license now, and I help people who want to invest, or people who are first-time home buyers, or people who want to sell and move into a larger home or a whole different lifestyle of being on the road in their RV. But when I was able to shift into real estate investing, that freed up a lot of time for me. And I was able to find something that I was passionate about. And everyone knew I love watching HGTV. I love real estate. If there was an open house, I was there. But I was able to take my passion and what I loved and put into action. And those action steps allowed me to be able to replace my income in the classroom and come out of the classroom at that time when I was experiencing career burnout. And so you have to think about, where are you? Is that what's got you stuck? Is that what has you in survival mode? Again, I spoke on more month than money for some people. Some people, it's just there's just a lack of respect at the job place. So you need a roadmap. Tools, support networks, encouragement from other entrepreneurs is key, right? When you have other like-minded sisters to call on, that makes the journey even so much better. One of the things that I did was I wrote 21 Days of Faith, Finding Your Purpose. And you can find that book on Amazon. And what it is a book to guide you every day for the next 21 days. It will give you a little story, a question, a scripture, and a task for you to do. And if you do these tasks every single day, they're not long, they're quick, but if you do these tasks every day for 21 days, truly, by the end, even before the end, you will have discovered your purpose. So definitely check out 21 Days of Faith. It is available on Amazon, and it helps when you're moving from surviving to thriving. You have to know how to embrace each step with gratitude. This book gives insights for personal growth and empowerment. And also, we have a master class, a 7-week master class. It's taught by me. In the beginning, I said I love curriculum development. And I understand that transitioning from surviving to thriving is not an easy task, but it is doable. I've had to experience that. I've been on that journey. The last 2+ years have been very interesting for us, with lots of change, from losing my grandmother and my father, my mother being diagnosed with leukemia, but she's in remission. And we are excited about that, right? To being an empty nester, to be recently divorced, a lot of things that I would have never imagined, and that they happened all within a 2-year period. And so, if you are struggling, if you feel stuck, if you're having difficulties, I understand. I've been through it, each and every step of it. I felt the failure. I felt the vulnerability. I felt the grief. I felt the anger, right? But I'm so grateful because I'm stronger because of it. So I have a 7-week master class, and we meet Saturday mornings. Usually there's a cohort, and we meet on Zoom Saturday mornings from 9 to 10. And it's a 7-week series. And you can sign up for just $397 and transform your life, your business journey as well. We come together with guidance, with community support, because it's very important as you're moving through to have the support, not only the support of a coach, but also the support of others in your cohort who are like-minded and who are going through some of the same things as well. And so our next cohort will be starting July 27th. And we'll start again Saturday mornings from 9 to 10, shifting our mindset and discovering our purpose. And we'll be able to dive deep and we'll take a deeper dive so that we can get to the root, so that we can, cut out that root and then get onto our actionable steps so that we can definitely thrive. One of the things that is very important for you to think about are, what are three things or three areas that you feel like you're just surviving in daily? What are those three areas that you feel like you're just surviving in daily? Take a minute and think about that. Take a minute and think about that. Just getting out of bed. Yeah. Going into a job that you just don't feel respected or valued at. Yeah. Being a single mom, taking on the weight of the world, not having your mom, your best friend. Yeah. All of these things are heavy, definitely. Now that you've thought about that, let's flip that. Think about three things that might help you. Three things that might help you move from surviving to thriving. What are three things that might help you? Yeah, there are things that might help us, right? Taking immediate steps. I agree. Taking immediate action steps, right? So think about, what are your immediate steps? What are the things that you can do? Being mindful every day, taking time to pray, taking time to meditate, and having gratitude. Get a gratitude journal. That'll help. And write down the things that you're grateful for in the morning when you wake up, and write down the things that you are grateful for before you go to bed at night. And know that you are safe and you are well. And that's what prayer and meditation, those practices, walking, communing with nature, bring feelings of being safe and well-being. And do you know that you can thrive when you feel safe and when you have positive well-being? I just spoke about walking, right? That physical activity, that's something you can do, right? Because women can reinvent, women can heal, women can thrive, not just through entrepreneurship, but through your daily action steps. You can embrace change, you can take risks, you can pursue your dreams with confidence, right? No matter who you are, no matter your age, no matter what challenge life has thrown you, you have what it takes. And so I just want to leave you with this. It's a journey. It's a journey, and you're going to find yourself walking in empowerment, and you will be empowered more and more each day, and you will thrive more and more each day. Because why? You'll work on reinventing yourself. You're working on healing. It's essential for you to continue to take those actionable steps. Those action steps are going to be what helps you. I'm going to stop sharing my screen for a moment. These are some women entrepreneurs poised for growth in 2024. Stop the share. So I just wanted to leave you with, reflect on your passions, reflect on your skills, take some time to be introspective, And when you're being introspective, identify your passions, identify your skills, right? That could potentially be turned into a business idea. One of the things that, and the reason why I say that this is because I have currently, my kids are thriving, right? I talked about being an empty nester, but now my daughter is going into her junior year. Her twin brother is going into his junior year. And I have another daughter going into her senior year of college. And one of the things I did with the family home, right? I had to be creative. With the family home is I was able to put a door in between the master suite and the rest of the house. So then I was able to and that particular house had a ADU. So I was able to put 3 units on Airbnb and rent them out, right? That's entrepreneurship, that's business, that's taking a situation and taking lemons and making lemonade. And so a single family house now is a space for a family, for a single person, and then the additional dwelling unit, another space for a family or single person or couple. And so those units are rental units. And so I became a property manager. And it's been a great business. And I love being a property manager. Didn't know that I would love it, but I absolutely love it, right? I have a passion for it. I love people. It gives me the opportunity to be a blessing to families who are in need of safe, comfortable housing, right? It also allows me to tap into that interior decorator part of me, as I get the units together to look the way that I would like them to look and make for a cozy, comfortable stay for my clients who are Airbnb clients who stay. So that was a surprise, There are so many surprises out there for you. So don't skip the step of reflecting. Reflect on what are you good at? What are your passions? Also, practice self care. Self care is so key, right? You're healing from major life changes, be it a divorce, a death, a loss, career burnout, whatever the case may be. Take care of yourself so that you can have clarity in thought and you can build that resilience. And that will keep you motivated and that will foster personal growth. And that goes a long way. Start small, achievable goals. What are some things you could do? What are some things you can do right now? Right? When you start small and you check those things off, it gives you that extra emphasis to know I can do it. It's motivation. Resources for starting a business. That's an action step. Even if you don't become an entrepreneur, just taking the time to learn something new, it shifts the mind and moves the mind forward. And embrace change. You got to take a risk. You got to take a risk on you. You got to take a risk on you. You deserve the best. And so it starts with taking a risk on you. As you embark on this journey, embrace change. Change is a catalyst for growth. You can do it. You can pursue your dreams, right? You can do it with confidence. It's going to be shaky at first, but the more you do it, the more you stretch, the farther you can see that you will be able to stretch and you will be able to succeed. So now's the time to take the action. Now's the time to believe in yourself. Now's the time to unleash that joyful spirit that's within you. The world is waiting for you. You have unique gifts and you need to share them with the world. The world needs to know you have great things to offer. I'm so glad that you took this time to be with us, with me, Reverend Stephanie Denise. If you ever just need a little bit of encouragement, you can check out my blogs on RevStephanieDenise.com. Also, you can check out our masterclass. Our next cohort will start July 27th. And we'll be meeting from 9 to 10, that's Pacific Standard Time. And if you have any other questions, just feel free to reach out. I am here. I understand. I've been through it myself, but now is your time. Now is your time to shine. Put in the chat, time to shine. All right. Well, thank you for taking the time to be with me tonight. Blessings to you all. And I know that thriving is in your future.